I think any job, I'm looking this as a job. I'm going to represent the people that come from my constituency, and I'm looking at it as an opportunity to prove that public work is not as difficult as it seems to be. So how I would connect to people, my area is not very big. It has about 8 segments. The whole constituency can be divided into 8 segments. So I would continuously go to the people, find out what is happening, how comfortable they are, take petitions from them, and continuously keep engaging them, the other non-governmental organizations, the public charitable organizations, organizations or civic groups. Get in touch with them, ask them what would be the best development model, come up with a consensus plan, involve them also into the development of the constituency. So that would be my priority, and that would be my focus. So that I'm always connected with the people, except when I'm not in the city. I think people should be courageous, that we are at a juncture where India can go into a very bright future. We are definitely going to develop economically, but we should look at credible measures. The third thing that I would think about is the whole process of phenomenon called liberalization. We have noted that that is not the solution per se, but we should look at developing human resources. Human resources is the most vital thing in our country, most vital resource. So we should look at how we can channelize and empower this resource so that they go to their full potential. This is the only way that we can definitely become a economic superpower. So when I look at the older generation, I do note that they have succumbed to this the whole corrupt culture that exists. It's definitely a physiological condition, because there would be hormonal changes which makes them not resist that particular thing. So they are passive in that sense. But the younger generation are the people who can actually transform. They are the people who can throw new light into all these aspects and bring in more innovative and very simple solutions to so-called complex problems. It's again a multifaceted problem, but effective leadership is what is required. If you can direct your people, tell them to do the right thing, and continuously encourage them to do that, and show them that what are the benefits that the whole generation would get out of doing the right things, I'm sure people will be inspired, because when I look at people, I see that there's good in everybody. It's only that we are not able to channelize that good into credible measures, things that are effective, things that are practicable. So if you continuously and intensely focus on that, make people realize what is the true potential that this land actually holds, I'm sure that we will be able to direct it towards and I'm sure all these relief measures would reach the individual that it was intended to. But the point I also wanted to make is that in every work that we do, we should always constantly strive to look at the middle path. There's always extremes, but always strive to find the middle path. As long as you do that, I'm sure that you are on the right direction. It comes to, because I was forced to read the Constitution, because it was on the 3rd of March this year that I decided that I'm going to contest this elections. So and the preamble speaks about equality. As long as you're not providing an equal education to all the people, then there would definitely be inequity in all the works that they do. So if you just standardize, only look at one aspect. If you standardize the education, the type of education that's provided to all the people, all the children and the adolescents, I'm sure they will be able to appreciate differences better. So it's not a cultural thing at all. So it has to do with how the beauty of diversity is ingrained in you, how comfortable you feel with the rest of the society. So these are things that has to come through education alone. So once that comes in, you can definitely reduce crime rates, you can definitely reduce crime against women, and therefore it's obviously a social struggle. But if you're going to focus on giving the right type of education and the right type of and equality of education to all the people, I'm sure we will be able to eradicate this menace. The stand is very clear that it is to do with education. For example, I can give you an example. Let us say an affluent school or an affluent college. The people in those colleges appreciate the differences. I'm just giving you an example. Yeah. It need not be correct, or you don't have to quote me and say that it's not effective. I'm just giving you an example. So the people who study there definitely appreciate the differences and they are comfortable. Whereas you look at the same situation, another student who's from a poor, impoverished background, who has to who's not exposed to that sort of environment. So when such a person has to or is forced into an environment where there is such huge cultural differences, then there is definitely going to be provocation, and there is going to be resistance. So that resistance can turn into violence sometimes, or in a more organized way it would become moral policing. So how would you so you're looking only at education. If you look only at education and see that the difference in the level of education that these two groups get, if you try to bring it down and try to equate it, or try to make it a level playing field for everybody, I'm sure that people will be able to appreciate the cultural differences better. So that's a simple aspect, but if you only look at education, that's the way you can transform. Make sure that on the 23rd of April, 10 lakh people go out from Bangalore South and vote for Santosh Min B.